In May 2025, the celestial bodies prepare for the representatives of the sign of Pisces' fateful changes. The time is approaching when astrological influences will add up to a unique sequence of events that can radically transform their existence. This is not just a forecast, but a detailed guide to action, revealing how and when the 5 key codes of destiny are activated, what steps must be taken and what gifts this will bring to the solar and ascendant sign. We will talk about those moments when fate tears off the covers of ill-wishers, returns lost resources, opens the door to true love, completes the outmoded karmic lessons and provides a chance to reach a whole new level of self-realization. The first code is inner harmony. On May 10th, the planet Mercury enters the sign of Taurus, which marks a powerful turn in thinking. Representatives of the sign of Pisces get rid of exhausting internal dialogue, full of doubts and anxieties, and begin to build their worldview on the basis of clear facts and logical deductions. Mercury in Taurus does not tolerate empty emotional reasoning, it is aimed at finding concrete solutions. In the 3rd and 4th astrological houses, responsible for thinking, environment and family ties, mechanisms of in-depth analysis are triggered. The reasons for long-standing failures, personal conflicts and recurring life scenarios suddenly become apparent. Significant changes occur in the flow of being, accompanied by vivid dreams and intuitive insights, as if knowledge arises from the depths of the subconscious. The disparate elements begin to come together into a coherent, logical picture, where the mystical recedes before practical application. Souls bound by blood ties, or ancestors whose energy has been repressed, seek to make contact through dreams so that Pisces can heal vulnerable aspects of their personality. Under the influence of Taurus, Pisces exhibits unexpected confidence, refusing to compromise and resolutely removing obstacles that inhibit their development. This approach shatters established stereotypes. Harmony is born not from the desire to please others, but from the order in their own inner world. Mercury, being in the sign of Taurus, activates the areas of thinking and family ties in the horoscope of Pisces, encouraging them to rethink their usual views and reconsider relationships with loved ones. Given their innate sensitivity, emotional instability, and tendency to avoid confrontation, Pisces has previously been able to sacrifice their comfort in order to keep the peace, but this is now changing. The intellectual energy of Taurus harmonizes with the intuitive nature of Pisces, and instead of indecision, clear, balanced decisions are born. Representatives of the sign of Pisces demonstrate a striking transformation of thinking. If the solar Pisces are prone to categorical judgments, ascendant show a rational approach. At the same time, their actions are characterized by determination, but dictated by sincere motives. Pisces without regrets part with work, where they were exploited, cut ties with relatives who manipulated their feelings, and get rid of old obligations, whether financial or emotional. They courageously change their place of residence, disregarding external pressures. Such a change shocks those who are used to seeing Pisces as quiet, compliant and driven people. No one expects from them such a clear position and rigid boundaries, but they arise contrary to popular opinion. In the psychology of Pisces there is a reassessment of values. They no longer seek to please, justify themselves or hope for understanding. Now they set their own rules, either those around them accept them or leave. This is not a manifestation of cruelty, but a natural outcome of personal growth. Imaginary confidence gives way to a clear decision-making system, fears recede, giving way to structure. The new strategy is effective, because it is devoid of emotion and takes into account all the vulnerabilities of the zodiac sign. The second important task for Pisces is to neutralize envious people and ill-wishers. The culmination of this process will be the full moon in Scorpio, which will occur on May 12th. For Pisces, the issue of recognition and respect is of paramount importance, and not ostentatious formality, but a sincere attitude in a close circle, in the family, among friends and colleagues. The upcoming full moon in the sign of Scorpio will activate the 8th house of the horoscope of Pisces, which will provoke the aggravation of hidden contradictions and expose the true intentions of others. During this period, Pisces will become obvious, who for years undermined their self-confidence, hiding behind care, and who set insidious traps, hypocritically portraying support. The reaction of Pisces will be decisive and unexpected for those who are used to seeing them weak and malleable. Sunny Pisces, not prone to long proceedings, prefer to act quickly and effectively. They simply limit communication with those who cause them guilt or sow doubts, excluding these people from their lives. Pisces with an ascendant in this sign choose a more strategic approach. They pause, carefully analyze the schemes of influence, and then one verified step deprive the manipulator of power over themselves, whether it is a transfer to another position, termination of the contract or change of environment. It should be noted that in the professional sphere Pisces successfully use their innate intuition and the ability to recognize ulterior motives. Despite the fact that Pisces is not always open about their observations, they are very good at seeing through people. Representatives of the sign of Pisces have a unique ability to turn unnoticed by others details in a powerful tool of influence. In situations that require the protection of personal boundaries, they show amazing equanimity and determination, disarming opponents of their unpredictability. Avoiding open confrontations, Pisces skillfully intercepts the initiative, acting precisely and effectively where others do not see a potential threat. Within the family circle, Pisces demonstrates remarkable psychological resilience, a quality that is often underestimated in this sign. They establish clear rules of communication that exclude behind-the-scenes criticism and manipulative pressure disguised as caring. As a result, manipulators lose their power, deprived of the opportunity to influence the emotional state of Pisces. An example can be a situation when the boss, years practicing humiliation under the mask of jokes, faces a tough and concise rebuff from Pisces. Unable to withstand the loss of control, he is forced to retreat first. Those around him are amazed. Pisces does not enter into arguments, make excuses, or explain their motives. Instead, they create an environment in which the opponent realizes his own defeat. All this is made possible by the unique combination of qualities inherent in this sign: high sensitivity combined with intuitive intelligence, flexibility to maintain an inner core, and the ability to remain invisible until the moment of the decisive blow. The conjunction of Scorpio and the Moon opens the representatives of the sign of Pisces access to hidden resources, the existence of which they did not even suspect. There is a kind of reboot of the 9th and 10th houses of the horoscope, which leads to the restoration of authority and respect in the eyes of others. The state of affairs concerning reputation and social status becomes stable and stable. The first astrological code consolidates these positive changes for the long term. The second code heralds the resolution of financial difficulties. On May 18, Jupiter, moving into Gemini, forms a favorable sextile to Chiron and a 10th square to the North Node in Pisces. This means that a period of financial instability is coming to an end, and quite abruptly. Aspects affect the 2nd and 6th houses of the horoscope, bringing money, personal value and labor issues to the forefront. Pisces is no longer in a passive position, waiting for outside help, but is actively asserting its needs and getting what it wants. Jupiter's transit through the sign of Gemini, passing through the 3rd house, gives Pisces the opportunity to come out of voluntary isolation and realize their innate talents and abilities. Creative thinking, developed abstract perception and associative logic, which previously may have been underestimated by others, become the basis for recognition and success. Representatives of the sign, who have been unsupported for a long time, receive the necessary funding, interesting offers of cooperation and specific business proposals. Genuine breakthroughs and climbing to new heights occur not through compromise solutions, but by maintaining their unique authenticity. People with the ascendant in the sign of Pisces activate the 6th house of the horoscope, responsible for the sphere of labor and working conditions. Their natural restraint, high discipline and the ability to adapt to circumstances without complaining begin to be taken for granted by others, but as a valuable quality. Refusal from constant overtime and overtime work is seen not as a sign of weakness, but as a sign of self-confidence and self-reliance. A completely new attitude towards such people is being formed, which is expressed in their higher status, higher pay and more rational distribution of tasks. People born under the sign of the Sun in Pisces, especially those strongly influenced by the North Node, no longer operate in a passive waiting mode. Their typical tendency towards self-restraint is gradually becoming a thing of the past. They begin to actively use their innate intuition, heightened sensitivity to events and psychological observation to accurately choose the right direction. Such people achieve significant results exactly where previously they did not dare to make even the first step. People of retirement age with pronounced 9th and 12th houses in the natal chart are actively involved in the processes of counseling, teaching, and transfer of accumulated knowledge. Their rich life experience, well-developed empathy, and ability to hear the unspoken become especially in demand in modern society. It is about restoring former social status and deserved financial rewards. Favorable financial changes do not occur under the influence of external circumstances, but as a result of internal transformation of the personality. Jupiter has a positive effect on thought processes, and Chiron activates the potential for personal power. A square to the North Node in the sign of Pisces strongly recommends abandoning the habit of self-sacrifice. Material wealth returns, and representatives of the sign of Pisces cease to feel dependence and a sense of debt. Financial independence becomes an indispensable condition for self-respect. The fourth code symbolizes love, relationships, and cheating. On May 20th, the Sun moves into the sign of Gemini, and the sphere of personal relationships falls under the influence of the 3rd and 7th houses. All aspects related to communication, contacts and relationships become clearer and clearer. Pisces is no longer tormented by doubts, love them or use them, as answers come through concrete actions. The Sun in the sign of Gemini activates logical thinking in the realm of feelings. Falling in love no longer clouds the mind, and love becomes an object of analysis rather than an object of fantasy. Marriage ceases to be an area of constant compromise. Pisces is no longer willing to sacrifice itself to keep the peace, but instead shows critical thinking, analytical abilities, and a tendency to cold-blooded assessment of the situation. There is no more room for emotional blindness in a relationship. Now it is a complex system where every detail and functionality of all elements is important. Pisces, like experienced observers, carefully analyze what is happening, noticing the slightest changes. The instability of the partner causes instant detachment, while honesty builds trust. Attention to details previously ignored becomes key, and there is no room for excuses. The cynicism acquired over the years becomes a solid defense. Illusions are shattered by facts, fears are tested, and the absence of real threats brings a welcome inner stability. The partner stays close not out of pity or habit, but thanks to a clear, conscious relationship, where responsibility is distributed fairly. Threats, once hovering in the air, lose their relevance. Pisces is determined to stop the repetition of old scenarios, both in thought and in action. The ascendant sets the tone through actions, and the Sun through straightforward statements. Anything that doesn't meet the new standards is discarded without hesitation or discussion. In today's world, adultery is losing its former importance. Men born under the sign of Pisces, whose Sun is in this constellation, are no longer inclined to idealize love relationships. They meet infidelity with restraint but irrevocably. Emotional turmoil and instability no longer appeal to them. Having come to a certain conclusion, they stop communicating and do not return to previous relationships. Men with an ascendant in Pisces show even greater firmness. They detect manipulation, instantly terminate all communication and exclude former partners from their lives without bothering to explain. Women in whose horoscope the Sun is in the sign of Pisces, first carefully analyze the underlying causes of what happened, but, having reached a certain point, completely shut themselves off from the betrayed person, showing neither tears nor forgiveness. Women with an ascendant in Pisces, having discovered the betrayal, do not even consider it necessary to spend energy to talk. Their reaction is characterized by coldness, detachment and logic. Both men and women belonging to this sign, no longer seek to save those who destroy their trust. The influence of Gemini brings dynamics and awareness to their lives, thanks to which the love sphere is no longer vulnerable to them. Pisces no longer suffer, they make a choice, and this time a final one. This period is marked by a special code, karma, horn and destiny. On May 24th, Saturn moves into the sign of Aries. Saturn's location in this zodiac sign encourages Pisces to rely solely on its own strength. Everything that served as fetters, recedes into the past, leaving no room for excuses or empty hopes. Representatives of the sign of Pisces freed from the weight of the past days, finding inner peace not due to external interference, but through a decisive disposal of all the outmoded. Their actions become purposeful and cold-blooded, as if directed by the rays of the bright sun. Instead of chaos and confusion, order comes into their lives, and with it a change of attitude toward themselves. Those who have been patient are now setting clear boundaries, those who have been silent are gaining a voice, and those who had doubted their own abilities are beginning to act, and these changes are becoming evident to those around them. People begin to show respect as Pisces has learned to value themselves. Women no longer tolerate humiliation, and men don't allow themselves to be dragged into other people's problems. They exude calm, confidence and collectedness, feeling that their fate is in their own hands. Pisces boldly take risks, change their place of residence, leave a boring job and build a new life without complaints, fear and unnecessary words. Happiness comes to them when they realize that no one has power over them, that everything depends only on their own decisions and actions. This horoscope for Pisces, not just a prediction, but a guide to action, a clear instruction, following which will help them find what they want. To ignore it is to refuse the help offered by fate itself. Each of the 5 codes mentioned in the horoscope works in accordance with the astrological aspects, and each turn of events is triggered at a strictly defined moment in time. To miss an opportunity means to voluntarily return to the captivity of outmoded life scenarios, to find oneself again in an enchanted circle, where the same mistakes and disappointments are repeated. Acceptance, on the contrary, opens a direct and unobstructed path to those benefits that rightfully belong to a person, deserved respect of others, material well-being, sincere love and peace of mind. And these are not just beautiful words or empty promises, but a statement of fact. Now the choice is up to everyone to whom these lines will be opened.